And one of the things that we wanted to do at this event was to salute the entrepreneurs who are helping to build the new wireless web. And we turned to you all and asked you to vote. There were over 100 nominees that went out on the internet and went out in various trade publications, Wireless Week, Unstrung, others, saying, here are some pretty nifty ideas for new wireless services. Vote on the ones that you would like to see. Thousands of you cast your votes, and the top 5 were selected. We called them the wireless survivors. Now, there's one other thing that we have to familiarize you with before we bring out the first wireless survivor. And that is, all of us have been in the technology business, and all of us have get very hyped up about our product. And the problem is, how do we make sure that somebody comes out and shares with you a brief overview of their company? And so I would like to bring on stage the enforcer. Now, the enforcer is going to work in a very simple manner. Everybody gets 5 minutes. This is an elevator presentation, okay? Everybody gets 5 minutes to make their presentation and explain to you why they were the wireless survivor. The green light comes on when they first come out. When they've gone to 4 minutes, the yellow light comes on. And pray tell, should any of them go to 5 minutes, where is it? The red light, followed immediately by the hook. Please welcome Michael Pisani.
Hi, Don.
Your shot.
Thanks.
Go for it.
Hi, I'm Michael Pisani from AdaptiveInfo, and I'm here to tell you about the Adaptive Information Server that personalizes content sent to the wireless web. What's new and unique about the Adaptive Information Server is that it automatically learns a profile of the user's interest as they use the system. It uses this profile to prioritize what information is sent to them next, so that the most personally relevant information is at the top of the first screen, and other information might be on the second or third screen. It automates the entire wireless process. Essentially, it can take information from any internet source and send it to any wireless device or voice portal. It's also quick to train, and it's very easy to use. There are a variety of applications of the Adaptive Information Server. On the consumer side, there's news, restaurant guides, advertisements, product listings. On the business side, Salesforce automation, executive information systems, or email. The problem we face is, how do you fit a large amount of content, like a newspaper, a restaurant guide, or 200 email messages, into a small handheld device? One solution is to throw most of the content away. So, for instance, one news service has 4 business stories available throughout the entire day, and whether you're Bill Gates or Donald Trump, you get these same 4 business stories, whether you read them 2 hours ago or not. We've been working with the Los Angeles Times to put the entire Los Angeles Times, plus 3 local editions, plus the national news wires, on the wireless web. We do this by constructing a personal edition of the newspaper for each person that reads it, so that if Bill Gates were to read it, his front page business news would have internet and software news, while Donald Trump would have real estate news, and on his second page he might have the internet and software. The architecture of the Adaptive Information Server is shown here. Essentially, it takes information from the internet or a legacy database, puts it into the Adaptive Information Server, and then distributes it to a variety of wireless devices, whether it's WML, HDML, iMode, or voice XML, things of that sort. Of course, really anyone can do that. It's called style sheets. What we do in addition is we adapt to the individual users so that each person finds what's personally relevant to them. We feel that on the regular web, personalization is a luxury, but with small screens and slow connections, you really need to find the information that's most personally relevant at the top of your screen. To give you another example, we're working with VentureWire to put out the VentureWire newsletter. It's very easy for them to deploy it. It's an email newsletter. They simply email it to our server. It's also easy for people to use and read. To read it, you just simply click on a category like new money, and it learns. If you're interested in following biotech, the biotech stories are on top. If you're interested in wireless, your wireless stories are on top. What we're not doing is called user configuration. We're not doing this because it's much too hard to use and it's not very accurate. In user configuration, there are checkboxes and keywords that users have to set, but these tend to be much too coarse-grained. You'll find checkboxes for things like international news, but you won't find a checkbox for things like Japan or Sweden. It also tends to be very ambiguous. If you're interested in Verizon, you might not care about the Metallica concert at Verizon Wireless Amphitheater. Finally, it requires constant maintenance. I'm not interested in baseball. I don't follow it. But about this week, I'm starting to get interested. And I'd hate to have to go back to my carrier to let them know that. Let me show you how easy it is to use the Adaptive Information Server. In order to train the system, on day one, we want to give the user a good experience. So he gets the front page news on his first screen. In this case, there are 2 football stories and 1 horse racing story. In this case, a user would select the horse racing story, starts to read it, and can continue to read several screenfuls of it. And then when the user requests the next page of headlines, you'll see that there are 2 horse racing headlines and 1 golf headline there. So the system has learned that the user is interested in horse racing here and has thrown the golf story to add some diversity. This can make the difference between someone reading 1 story or 3 stories on the wireless web. In order to really demonstrate this, over the course of a month, with 3,000 users, sometimes we personalized their data, and other times we did not personalize their data. For every 100 stories they read when we did not personalize, they read 143 stories personalized. So if you're selling data by the packet or by the minute, this can make a tremendous difference in your bottom line. We also think that the users are happier when they have a service like this because it makes it much easier for them to find what's personally relevant. So far, I've been talking entirely about news, but we work in a variety of applications, such as restaurant recommendation. So here's an example of a typical restaurant recommender, where if you would go to our company, it could recommend the nearest Mexican restaurants. On the left is a location-based system, and you'll see what it does is it recommends 3 Del Tacos and 3 Tacos and Company. Is this it? If it's still on, I'm going to talk. In California, we go through red lights. If you'd like to try the service, you can type the URL adapt.am into your web browser. It's very easy to type in. You can do it right now, just 8 digits. Come see us at booth 1058. We'll beam you VentureWire or the Los Angeles Times. Thank you very much.
Hey, Mike.
Thanks, Tom.
Now, you know, it's not hard to tell that you were on leave from being a professor. Okay? But help me understand one thing about this. This looks to me as though you're building a lot of information about Tom Wheeler. What about my privacy and all of this?
Well, we can handle that in a variety of ways. We actually don't need to know that you're Tom Wheeler. Just user 14712 is good enough to do all of this personalization. If privacy is a concern, you can run it through a privacy proxy. I understand the European Union has very strict privacy regulations, and we can comply with them. But again, we're an infrastructure provider, so we license our software, and we could deal with any privacy policy that any company wants.
Terrific. Mike, congratulations on being a wireless survivor. Yeah.